Following the directives of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and on the advent of the new Hijri year 1446, the Royal Court will begin distributing the annual offerings through the Sunni and Jafari Endowments Directorates to the charity societies and Matams and Husseini community centres. His Majesty the King's representative for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, the SCYS, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, chaired the 9th meeting of the follow-up community on the establishment of the sports city in the presence of the Minister of Finance and National Economy, Sheikh Salman bin Khalifa Al Khalifa. The SCYS Secretary General Ayman Al Muayyad, the Minister of Works, Engineer Ibrahim Al Hawaj, and committee members. His Highness affirmed that the sports city project is one of the most important strategic projects in Bahrain and embodies His Majesty the King's support of the youth and sports movement, which contributes to making Bahrain a destination for regional and international sports events and championships. His Highness hailed the follow-up and support of the government headed by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister in developing the sports sector, especially at the sports infrastructure level. His Highness was briefed on the project's general designs, timetable and public facilities. The project is a sports edifice and adds to the Kingdom's achievements in the comprehensive development process. His Highness noted the importance of continuing to make Bahrain a sports event destination, as it will be a major factor in completing investment in sports, enhancing the competitive environment and promoting the Kingdom globally. Delegated by His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, the advisor of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister His Highness Sheikh Ali bin Khalifa Al Khalifa offered the condolences of His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa to the Emir of Kuwait, His Highness Sheikh Mash'al Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, the Crown Prince of Kuwait, His Highness Sheikh Sabah Khalid Al Hamad Al Mubarak Al Sabah, the Prime Minister of Kuwait, His Highness Sheikh Ahmed Abdullah Al Ahmed Al Sabah, and senior members of the Al Sabah family on the demise of Sheikh Ali Abdullah Al Salim Al Mubarak Al Sabah. His Highness prayed to Allah the Almighty to rest the soul of the deceased in eternal peace and grant his family solace and fortitude. This came during His Highness Sheikh Ali bin Khalifa's visit to Kuwait, accompanied by the Undersecretary of the Ministry of Cabinet Affairs, His Highness Sheikh Isa bin Ali bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, the Director General of the Royal Family Council, Sheikh Salman bin Khalid bin Mohammed Al Khalifa, and the Bahraini Ambassador to Kuwait, Salah Ali Al Malki. His Highness was received by the Minister of State for Amiri Diwan Affairs, Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Al Mubarak Al Sabah. The Speaker of the Representatives Council and head of the parliamentary delegation, Ahmed Al-Musallam, delivered a speech during the opening of the Marrakesh Economic Parliamentary Forum for the Euro-Mediterranean and Gulf region of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Mediterranean. The Speaker hailed the historical fraternal relations between Bahrain and Morocco in light of the support of His Majesty the King and the Moroccan monarch. Al-Musallam affirmed that Bahrain, under the leadership of His Majesty the King, with the support of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, continues to implement developmental plans and initiatives to achieve its environmental and climate commitments. He noted that entrepreneurship in Bahrain is witnessing development with its leading experiences in supporting SMEs. He also added that Bahrain's maintaining Tier 1 for 7 consecutive years in global competitiveness reflects the efforts in creating a competitive economy that attracts investments. Al-Musallam stated that Bahrain strongly believes that development cannot be achieved without security, and that achieving stability in international security and peace will not be achieved with continuous conflicts, and that supporting efforts for a comprehensive and just solution for the Palestinian is a priority in the region. He called on the forum to support Bahrain's initiative in calling for an international peace forum announced during the 33rd Arab Summit. He noted that the forum is a pivotal stage to enhance effective cooperation between parliamentarians and economic leaders in the public and private sectors, affirming the importance of utilizing potentialities to develop environmental friendly projects. The Minister of Foreign Affairs also met in Washington, D.C. with the Iraqi Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Fuad Hussein. They discussed the brotherly relations between the two countries and ways to develop them in all areas of joint cooperation for the benefit of both countries. They also emphasized the importance of continuing cooperation, joint coordination and consultation to develop brotherly relations and mutual interests, as well as promote regional security and stability. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdulatif Al-Zayani, met in Washington with the member of the U.S. House of Representatives and former Speaker Nancy Pelosi on the sidelines of his visit to participate in the NATO summit. During the meeting, the two sides discussed the strategic partnership between the two countries and the cooperation in various fields in light of the Comprehensive Security, Integration and Prosperity Agreement. They also discussed the developments in the Middle East and the war in the Gaza Strip, as well as the Arab and international efforts to reach a ceasefire and release hostages and detainees, as well as deliver humanitarian aid to residents. They also reviewed the outcomes of the Bahrain summit and the adopted initiatives, as well as the efforts to support their implementation on to hold the International Peace Conference to solve the Palestinian cause according to the two-state solution, supporting the efforts for its full recognition in the UN, and providing educational and health services for those affected by conflicts in the region in cooperation with regional and international organizations. Also present at the meeting was Bahrain's ambassador to the US, Sheikh Abdullah bin Rashid Al Khalifa. The Minister of Housing and Urban Planning, Amna Al-Rumayhi, held a business meeting with the President of China Overseas Development Association, CODA, or CODA. He is in Hui in Beijing. During the meeting, Al-Rumayhi hailed the successful partnership between the two countries and reviewed the initiatives and programs adopted by the ministry to provide social housing for citizens. They shed light on Bahrain's promising investment opportunities, the participation of the private sector in providing and developing housing services in Bahrain, and building more successful partnerships with major Chinese companies. The delegation reviewed the facilities provided by the Ministry of Industry and Commerce in the industrial development field and the investment opportunities in implementing a number of development projects in the kingdom. For his part, the President of CODA stressed the keenness to review Bahrain's experience in providing social housing for citizens, especially after the creating the partnership programs with the private sector. He also expressed CODA's interest in identifying investment opportunities in Bahrain's development and industrial sector, stressing the keenness to support the efforts of Chinese companies investing in those projects. The two sides agreed to continue the periodic meetings and build on the existing principles of cooperation. The Bahrain Tourism and Exhibitions Authority launched the Bahrain Summer Toy Festival at Exhibition World Bahrain. The festival is part of Bahrain Summer Festival 2024 and in strategic partnership with Al Dana Amphitheatre in cooperation with Space Tune and sponsored by the National Bank of Bahrain. The Minister of Tourism, Fatma Sayrafi, visited the festival with the CEO of MBB, Uthman Ahmed. The minister affirmed that the festival is the first of its kind in Bahrain. It includes many activities, entertainment and interactive programs. The festival hosts 25 global brands of the most popular characters for children, in addition to dozens of international theatrical performances.
We are here today in Exhibition World Bahrain in the Toy Festival, which is one of our main initiatives during the summer festivities of tourism in the Kingdom of Bahrain. We have noticed that there has been a great footfall in terms of the number of visitors to the Toy Festival, whether they're in the Kingdom of Bahrain or visiting us from the other GCC countries. The Toy Festival has been launched with a strategic partnership with the Al Dana Amphitheatre, as well as the National Bank of Bahrain. One of the key things that we have initiated in the Bahrain Tourism and Exhibitions Authority is creating promotional packages to attract more tourists from the GCC countries to Bahrain during the summer season. We have noticed that there is a huge impact that has been done through the different entities in the private sector, mainly from the hotels and resorts, as well as the tourism entities in the Kingdom of Bahrain.
We're very pleased to be part of the Bahrain Summer Toy Festival. It was wonderful to have the opportunity to tour the premises just now with the Excellency and see all the wonderful events that are taking place on site for children. It was great to see the joy on the faces of the children and the parents. Our involvement makes it also affordable for all segments of society, and that's again something that we're very pleased to help with. So yeah, I'm very proud to be part of it. Thank you so much.
The National Initiative for Agricultural Development, NIAD, announced the completion of the third phase of the National Afforestation Campaign for Evergreen. The campaign completed 47 afforestation projects in various governorates of the Kingdom in cooperation with the Ministry of Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture and the Supreme Council for the Environment. On the occasion, the Secretary General of NIAD, Sheikh Maram bint Isa Al Khalifa, expressed thanks and gratitude to the government and private institutions, civil society organizations and individuals for their support in the afforestation projects and their contribution to the success of the third phase of the campaign. Sheikh Maram also praised the rapid response of private sector institutions to contribute to the success of the campaign, noting the prominent role played by the Ministry of Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture and the municipalities of the four governorates during the campaign. The Bahraini Parliamentary Division delegation participated in the Marrakech Economic Forum. The second Deputy Chairman of the Shura Council, Dr. Jihad Al-Fadl, called for the formation of a European Mediterranean trade room in the Gulf states to benefit from economic partners in light of Bahrain's distinguished geographical location. She affirmed the importance of effective legislative measures to ensure or encourage increased economic growth and fruitful partnerships between the Euro-Mediterranean countries and Gulf states. She said that any legislative action must be accompanied to facilitate economic projects between the Euro-Mediterranean region with the Gulf states. She indicated that the Euro-Mediterranean region and Gulf states have many promising opportunities to enhance economic and commercial activities despite challenges. Bahrain's parliamentary division participated in the expanded coordination meeting of the Advisory Council of the Women Parliamentary Forum of the Mediterranean Parliament, WPF, held on the sidelines of the Marrakech Parliamentary Economic Forum for the Euro-Mediterranean region. The meeting discussed the strategic priorities of the forum for the period of 2024 till 2026 and identified the activities and initiatives that will be implemented during the coming months, in addition to the next steps to prepare for the second session of the PAM-WPL. The meeting focused on enhancing cooperation with economic stakeholders with the aim of establishing a mixed working group dedicated to providing the forum with all the tools necessary to reach full economic empowerment and independence. The Representatives Council delegation participated in the meeting of the Social, Educational, Cultural, Women and Youth Committee in the Arab Parliament held in Cairo. The committee will discuss the developments of implementing the Arab strategy to enhance volunteer work and the desired Arab parliamentary role to cooperate in the implementation of the strategy in the presence of a representative of the Council of Arab Social Ministers. A delegation from the Representatives Council also participated in the fifth meeting of the Legislative, Legal and Human Rights Affairs Committee in the fourth annual session of the third legislative term of the Arab Parliament in Cairo, Egypt. During the meeting, the committee discussed the third draft of a draft Arab guideline law to combat bullying in the Arab world, as it represents a grave violation of religious teachings, values and good morals, and a clear attack on human rights, calling on national parliaments to adopt an effective legislative policy to eliminate this social scourge.